In a data science interview, right, you're going to have one interview that's going to be specifically devoted to statistics and probability, and then usually one that's going to be focused on machine learning. Now, this very much depends on what role you're applying for, right? So if you're applying for, let's say, a machine learning engineer role or a very technical data science role, in a sense that like the product that you'll be working on is a machine learning product, then you're going to get a bunch of these questions. If you are applying for, let's say, a data analyst role, or even, let's say, a data science role that's focused on experimentation and more maybe like optimization, you won't get a lot of these machine learning questions. You might maybe get like a call from the hiring manager that'll be like, oh, can you explain to me what a confusion matrix is? Or how would you be able to explain a logistic regression? But it won't really go into the details of, can you explain to me hyperparameter tuning and like things that are very specific to these models. So like that's a very big caveat for how you study for machine learning. Does that make sense to everyone? It's very, very dependent. Great. So usually, this is honestly a section where it is very technical, right? So like you need to have understanding of your basic machine learning methods. The thing is, it is very rare that they're going to tell you, here's your terminal, here's a Jupyter notebook, write the script and deploy a model. I've never seen that. I never asked for that. So that's great, right? Like that just means that you can really the most important things that they're testing you on is, do you know the fundamentals? Do you understand them? And can you communicate them? And it's usually the communication piece that's the toughest. Honestly, like I think that's a common theme that you'll hear from me in all of these interview sessions, is that communication of the technical concepts is by far what will get you the role, because it shows that you understand it, and it shows that you can go to a conference room, talk to C-level execs, talk to sales, and you know your stuff and they trust you. That being said, in general, for machine learning interviews, there are two general categories, right? You'll have your behavioral machine learning applications and technical machine learning applications. So I'm going to focus really on both in the next hour and a half. So when I say behavioral, that's really more like situational, right? So it's essentially like, how would you do something? Take the example of Spotify, right? Essentially, they have those like daily mixes, or they have those recommended songs. A lot of the times you'll just have the hiring manager call and be like, so we want to be able to, essentially create a curated playlist for every user. How would you do that? And really what it's doing here is it's essentially trying to figure out, let me give you a very broad question, and how can you break it down, right? So what are you trying to measure? What are you trying to model? What is the objective function? Who is this for? What are the features that you think would really be able to describe your user? What are the different features that you would use, right? What are the trade-offs between models? If you're thinking of a random forest, why would you use a random forest instead of a logistic regression? So this is really important, because basically, like kind of what I mentioned in the beginning, no one is really ever going to tell you like, give me the formula of a neural network. Like that's just not going to happen. What's going to happen is very high level, how do you develop Quora's newsfeed? What are the things that you think about? What are the basic elements? Every single time.